All right, now I'm here with my dear friend Trey Steves, and he used to call me Uncle Dick, not anymore. I call him, he's my mentor now. But Trace, I want you to tell me a little bit about the man you knew as Big Jim Parker. Tell me a little bit about him, buddy.
How much time you got on that tape?
Well, when Jim had come to work here in San Antonio, our plant was pretty much antiquated. He updated most of the equipment.
Sometimes it's sort of hard to modernize if you don't know what you're doing, and Jim did.
From that time to this, we were manufacturing, I think, maybe 6,000 doors a day. Now we're manufacturing almost 50,000 doors a day. So he's done a great job in 4 different manufacturing plants.
He knew something about everything, and he truly did. Not one of those folks that pretended like they did. He actually had a phenomenal skill set.
Tell me a little bit about the creativity side of Jim Parker, if you don't mind.
Oh man, I'll tell you a couple stories. So I'm getting married and we're having this big wedding, and I wanted to have a DJ booth built into a bar, and I wanted it all made out of doors, so it all looked like doors, and I wanted, this elevated DJ booth so he'd be up in the air, but it'd be all look like he's held up by doors. And I just told Jim this crazy idea, and he said, "You got it, I'll make it." And next thing you know, at the St. Anthony Hotel, he says, "I'm gonna need 2 days to load this thing in there." And it probably weighed, 10,000 pounds, and it was all painted gold, and it was the most unbelievable thing you ever saw. And that was Jim Parker. You come up with the idea and you get it.
But the best part about him, by far, the best part about him is he made it all fun. And he was a man blessed with 30 hours in a day, and he used every one of them.
Let me bring in another Edward, if you don't mind. Edward, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Good to see you here. What do you think Jim Parker's impact?
This is my grandson.
This is your grandson, Edward Dilley, right? Edward Steves Dilley.
Edward Steves Dilley.
Edward Galt Steves Dilley.
Edward Galt Steves Dilley. I like the way he says that.
What was he going to do for you? Was there was something he was going to teach you?
He was going to help me make my first door.
Oh my, your first door. Well, Edward, back to you on that same question. So the impact of Jim on Edward here.
Well, it's more than just this, Edward. It's all the members of my family, my generation and the new generation coming in.
Jim was like a big brother. He was like a mentor. Wasn't like a mentor, was a mentor. My children called him Papa Jim. He was my rooster every morning. He'd wake me up every morning. Doesn't matter, Saturday, Sunday. If he knew I had a big night the night before, I think he rolled his clock back and made sure to call me even earlier.
There's some folks here at this reception that came in from all over the country that loved Jim, and they would actually invite Jim, these would be customers of ours, they would invite Jim to come to their facility to give them some pointers. And the reason I know it was a good idea on Jim's part, and mostly on their part, was he was invited back. And he did it again and again. He actually knew a lot of what their business was, not even having been in it. So he's a fantastic, he's a gift.
Tell me about this tomato and Jim. If you look at all the tables, you've got tomatoes everywhere.
Yeah, so Jim would almost embarrass you the first time he did it, but then when you got used to it, he'd do it everywhere you went. He'd go to a restaurant, he'd say, "I need a plate full of cut tomatoes."
I've been told that
that it reminds you of Jim whenever you take one.
Why?
Because he loves tomatoes. He would just eat them like...
He'd eat them like this, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'll just eat it like this.
Nothing like a good tomato. Well, anyway, it was something that was very important to him because all your team members were telling me, they said, "I hope you have a tomato here because that would be Jim Parker."
He said that his health, he attributed his health to raw tomatoes, salmon, and blueberries. But I will tell you, I had a ribeye with him a time or two.
Well, the Parkers are family to me as well. So I thank you and Kristin for everything you did. It was a marvelous tribute, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you for what you do and for the Parker family.
At Mission Park and Mission Park Cares, we'd like to bring you more programming each and every week.
Yes, just subscribe here or catch us every Sunday morning on Fox 29.
And remember, at Mission Park, it's our mission to care.